Most retirees don't lose money because they're reckless. They lose money because they're using a strategy that made sense 20 years ago, but doesn't fit where they are now. And if you're within 5 years of retirement or already there, one serious market downturn can permanently alter your lifestyle. It's not just temporarily, it's permanently. When you're 35 years old, a 30% drop in the market is frustrating. But when you're 65 and drawing income, it's a completely different experience. Because now you're not just waiting for recovery, you're withdrawing while it's falling. And that changes everything. Today, I want to walk through how many retirees are continuing to grow their money without exposing themselves to another 2008, another 2020, or whatever the next cycle brings. And toward the end, I'll show you how some are structuring this to create something that functions a lot like a private pension. But first, let's talk about the mistake I see all the time. Imagine retiring with $500,000, and you begin taking income. Then the market drops 25%. Your $500,000 now is $375, but your withdrawals don't stop. You're still taking income. That combination, losing plus using, losses plus withdrawals, is what's known as sequence of returns risk. And it's one of the biggest blind spots in retirement planning. Because when those early losses happen, recovery becomes much harder. That's why so many retirees quietly ask themselves, what happens if the next crash comes at the worst possible time? If that question has ever crossed your mind, you're thinking about the right things. The solution just isn't what people assume. So let me walk you through the framework I use with retirees to fix this, step by step. Step number 1 is to recognize that retirement changes the rules. Most financial advice is built for accumulation. Buy consistently, stay invested, ignore volatility. And that approach is great and works when you're contributing and time is on your side. But once withdrawals begin, volatility carries more weight. When you're working, you're feeding the portfolio. In retirement, the portfolio has to start feeding you. So the focus must shift toward preserving principal while still allowing for growth. The common belief is that you must choose between staying fully exposed to the market or parking everything in low yield options like CDs. But there's actually a middle ground, and that's where things get really interesting. Step number 2 is protect principal without walking away from growth. And let's be honest, you probably don't need 15 to 20% returns anymore. What you need is steady progress without the anxiety that comes with major downturns. There are strategies that link growth to market indexes, such as the S&P 500, without directly placing your money in the market itself. And here's what that means in practical terms. When the market has a positive year, your account earns interest, typically up to a cap limit. If the market has a negative year, your principal isn't reduced. Your floor is 0. So if the market drops 30%, your account doesn't follow it. That protection changes how retirees experience volatility. It doesn't eliminate growth potential. It simply limits downside exposure. And right now, depending on the carrier and structure, S&P linked cap rates are often in the 9 to 11% range. Historically, that is translated into mid-single-digit average returns over longer periods, with principal protection in the down years. It's not designed for aggressive traders. It's designed for retirees who value durability. Step 3, add income that you can't outlive. Growth is important, and income certainly is critical. Many retirees today don't have pensions. They rely on Social Security and portfolio withdrawals. Some indexed annuities allow you to add an optional lifetime income rider. And when structured properly, that rider can convert a portion of your savings into guaranteed income for life. Even if the account value actually declines due to withdrawals, the income can continue. And that feature directly addresses one of the biggest concerns retirees share. What if I live longer than expected? Instead of relying solely on withdrawal percentages, you can create a defined income stream. That's what makes this feel more like building your own pension. Step 4, how this compares to the 4% rule. The 4% rule is often presented as a simple guideline. Withdraw 4% per year and adjust for inflation. The challenge is that it's based on historical averages and assumptions. It doesn't provide contractual guarantees. If returns are weaker than expected or longevity stretches beyond projections, adjustments may be necessary. And for some retirees, that uncertainty is acceptable. But for others, having at least part of their income guaranteed brings far more peace of mind. Step 5. Why CDs alone usually aren't the answer. CDs protect principal, and that's valuable, but they lock in a fixed rate. If inflation runs higher than expected, real purchasing power may be stagnant. There's also no participation if the market performs well. Index strategies were built to sit between full market exposure and fixed rate products. They provide protection similar to conservative options with upside potential tied to the market performance. Over a 10 to 20 year period, that balance can make a meaningful difference. And that brings us to step 6, the tax layer most people miss. Another advantage often overlooked is tax deferral. With indexed annuities, growth compounds without annual taxation. By contrast, brokerage accounts and CDs can generate taxable income each year. Over time, uninterrupted compounding can significantly improve outcomes. Protection, tax deferral, and controlled growth together create a structured design for retired realities. Here's the pattern I see frequently. Someone retires with $400,000 to $800,000. They don't want to gamble, but they also don't want their money sitting in idle. When structured correctly, index strategies have the potential to grow meaningfully over time while protecting against market losses. Combined with lifetime income features, they can provide growth in the earlier years and then predictable income later. This approach is typically a good fit for people who are age 59 and a half to age 79, and they have 250,000 plus in investable assets. And they're concerned about market volatility, and they have desire for reliable income. This approach is not designed for someone chasing aggressive short-term returns. It's designed for people who say, I've worked too hard to risk a major setback now. If that resonates with you, the next step is education. I put together a short video that explains how indexed annuities actually work, their pros, their cons, how caps and participation rates affect returns, how lifetime income riders function, and how to determine whether this fits your situation. You can click the link in the description below to watch that video. And after watching it, if you'd like to explore how this could fit into your own retirement plan, there's also an option for a free strategy call. No pressure, just a conversation to see whether your current structure truly protects you from the next downturn, because retirement should feel stable. And with the right structure in place, growth doesn't have to come with fear. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.